how's it going, everybody? It's Lofty, and you know, it's really late, so I probably shouldn't be recording right now. No, my neighbors are gonna before I start this video, you will be subscribing to my channel, and no, if you choose not to, Alright, Llama Arts, show me what you got. A creepy away? I forgot the title of this.
This happened about 5 years ago when I was 21.
Ooh.
Me and my friend Seth got into this app.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm already tearing up.
Me and my friend Seth got into this app, which showed you ghosts.
Ghost radar.
We'd go out ghost hunting, but nothing much would happen. Sometimes a dot would appear on one of our phones and it would say random words. We would ask, "How did you die?" and stuff like that.
What?
And sometimes the answers lined up, but it was mostly random. One night, around 2 a.m., Seth suggested going to the cemetery to see if the app picked anything up.
Okay, man. Seth, we gotta have a chat, bro.
Go to the cemetery to go ghost hunting? We're not in middle school, bro.
I was hesitant, but I nervously agreed. We started making our way through the neighborhood towards the cemetery. It was weird as the streets are normally lined with cars, but they were empty on this night. We walked down the middle of the road with the app running, but it wasn't picking anything up. We finally made it to the cemetery, which was a small, family-owned one where they only buried their own. Seth went up to the gate and started shouting, hoping to get a response on the app,
this is
but
how you die.
happened. I was standing in the road, feeling unsettled, when Seth starts yelling, "Is that all you've got?" I told him to stop disrespecting the dead and we should leave. He tried being funny, saying, "Oh, I'll make them show up," and jumped the gate and started stomping on the graves while screaming, "Come on, show us something."
Is this how you face me, coward?
All of a sudden, our phones said something at the same time. I looked down at my phone and it was there. We both just stood there,
Afraid, huh?
looking at each other when 10 or so red dots appeared on the radar.
Well, guess what?
And it said it again.
You're on the other side,
When I
pal.
looked back up from my phone, Seth was next to me.
What the
He
freak?
said, "We have got
You
to
jumped
go."
the gate that fast?
As soon as I said that, we could hear the street lights turning off one by
Y'all
one
are
from
dead.
the top of the street, getting closer to us.
Yeah, you're dead,
We
bro.
took off running as fast as we could.
Who's faster?
We got about halfway into the neighborhood before running out of breath and having to stop.
What?
I felt like I was going to throw up from being scared and winded. Then I heard my phone say something. It was
gosh.
muffled, but I knew what it said. Being too scared to look at my phone, I looked at Seth, who looked terrified. He nodded at me to get my phone out, so I slowly pulled it out and it said my name across the top.
Oh.
I turned my phone off and said, "Screw this, I'm done." We made our way back to my house and had a cigarette to calm down. We were talking about what just happened, almost not believing it, when I heard my phone again.
Oh my gosh.
This time it was my sister's name.
Uh-oh.
We just stood there, frozen, not saying a word, when it
Why
went
are you
off again
surprised?
and said my brother's name.
Uh-oh.
I took my phone
Entire
out,
family's
turned
dead.
it on, and deleted the app.
You think that's
I
enough?
asked Seth
Wait,
to
why
stay
didn't you
the
delete it
night,
the first
but
time?
He refused.
What?
I can't blame him. When I finally got to sleep that night, I dreamt a muffled voice repeating a word over and over.
Oh my gosh, she's dead.
I started to wake up and the words became clearer. My phone was off, with the battery out. But when I turned it over, it was lit up with the app running.
Oh my
It
gosh.
had a red dot about 6 feet from me, still repeating.
Bro. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yo, he's dead. What the freak?
I woke up the next morning and went to the bathroom.
Bro.
I had a razor-thin cut from my left
Oh
shoulder
my
to my right
goodness.
hip. I don't know what happened that night, and nothing has happened to me since. Needless to say,
You're never.
I don't mess with that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah. Good job, man. Bro, Llama is fire. Okay, this next one is titled Creepy Night Shift Story 2. Let's see what it's on. Llama, take me there.
It was around 3 years ago. I was 17 years old and I worked at the local library in my city.
Oh,
The
whoa, whoa. That's so relatable.
library was located in the middle of the city, but was totally abandoned in the evenings. I only worked in the evenings, when all the older staff had already gone home. My colleague and I were the only one left there that night. As it was the day before Christmas and a blizzard was going on outside, not one single customer inhabited the building.
Yikes.
My colleague Thomas was down at ground level, while I was sitting at my desk on the top level. Normally, I would take the time to study, but it was the holidays and I was completely bored to death.
Well,
The library was recently renovated,
Read a
so I
book.
could look outside through the big windows that they had put up. I mostly looked at the blizzard going on, thinking about my
should
bike
y'all
ride
have
home.
those?
It was a dark December evening and the snow was piling up. I just really wanted to go home. It's really snowy out there, Tom. What do you say we close up early? No one's gonna show up anyway. Over. Your jokes are funny. Over.
what? It
Just
wasn't a
10
joke.
minutes before we closed, I heard some people coming up the stairwells. It was some kind of family. One man
Good
and a
evening.
woman with two
What the
girls.
freak? Why y'all pale?
When they came through the door, I immediately saw that they weren't ordinary. The man had a pale, almost white face and wore red lipstick. The woman was also completely pale. They all wore
This is whatever my name is, John Timothy. Thomas, I quit. Over.
clothing like they used to be in the 17 or 1800s. I just had my history exam, so I recognized it immediately.
Oh my gosh.
While I walked towards them, I saw that they were looking around as if they were lost.
Bro, they're scoping for
Can I help you,
cameras.
folks? I asked
They're about
them.
to fry you.
They looked at me with big eyes, if I was talking Chinese. I almost thought about bailing, but as we just had a meeting about customer satisfaction, I asked again, a bit louder. Can I help you folks?
Bro, free
They
customers.
now all
Why
looked
they
at me
smiling?
with a big smile and large eyes. I was totally creeped out and I
heck
didn't
no, bro.
really know what to do anymore.
Bro,
If I can help you, I'll be at my desk, I said, and I quickly walked away. When I was at my desk, I could still see the family just standing there, doing absolutely nothing.
dude, you gotta leave.
Tom?
I
Have you
quit.
seen this family that just came in? Over. No one's come through the entrance.
Oh my gosh.
You good? Over. Now I was even more creeped out. When I looked up, I saw the man walking
Oh
towards
my
me.
gosh.
From the inside, I could
Yo,
almost
back up.
cry, but I did my best not to show it.
Dude,
The man
stand up.
stood in front of me with his pale face and called out something in a language I couldn't understand. It sounded like English, but it sort of wasn't. I couldn't make out anything. I looked down at my computer to make it look like I was searching, hoping he
Bro,
would just take off.
no.
When I finally looked up, nobody was there.
Oh,
The whole floor was abandoned again.
never mind.
I did a quick sweep of the floor, but I found nobody,
I think he's on something.
as if they just vanished. Just then, my colleague came up the stairs, and I told him what happened. He didn't believe me, and I thought I was trying to scare him.
Check the cameras.
Luckily, there were security cameras in the
Insane.
library, so we could just watch what happened, right? After we closed the library, we went to the security office in the building and looked at the footage from earlier that evening. What I saw then was the creepiest thing ever.
What happened?
I was talking to nobody.
What?
The whole family wasn't on the screen. It was just me, talking to myself.
Let's go.
This happened in April of 2021.
Whoa, that's pretty recent.
My
dude.
region hadn't been hit so hard by COVID, so most aspects of our lives were normal.
Oh,
I
really?
had graduated in 2020 and I needed a job. I was 18 at the time, almost 19. I wasn't studying
looks like
and I
me.
didn't know what the hell to do with my life. So in March, I got a job at Pizza Hut as a delivery driver and kitchen hand. The night seemed normal. It was one of those days that didn't seem like anything interesting would happen, but those are always the days when the unexpected
Yup,
happens.
that's facts.
You know? It was around 10:30 on a Saturday night. We closed at 11, so it was just me and my boss during the last hour.
All right.
As usual, we got a late order. It was close, and I had finished mopping and sweeping the floor, so it was no hassle.
What is he doing?
My boss was always prepared for a million orders to come at the last minute,
Oh my gosh.
so he asked me to do it as fast as possible. The restaurant was located in a plaza on the main road. The traffic was consistently heavy on a Saturday, so I avoided the main road and took the side exit. Even though the plaza was in one of the busiest parts of town, this street, however, was always so dark and empty.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
This street was also really long, so all you could see were the traffic lights about 500 meters ahead. Something was confusing
And
me,
houses,
though,
I guess.
like my eyes were playing tricks on me. There was this black shadow
the freaking Grim
blocking
Reaper?
part of the lights, and there was this metallic object shining in the light above,
Oh, heck no, bro.
bobbing up and down like it was floating.
Bro, that's the Grim Reaper.
As I got closer, I could see the bottom of this dark silhouette. It looked like it was walking. I realized it was some drunk idiot dressed in all black walking on the road. Or so I thought. I couldn't entirely see them, and I didn't know what they were carrying. So I approached with caution,
Dude,
preparing to brake or
why
swerve.
would you?
I got close enough
Okay.
to see this person was dressed in a long coat with a hood similar to a
Okay.
cowl, which is unusual where I live.
All right, man.
I turned my car lights on bright and honked my horn, hoping that they'd move to the side or something.
He is on the
But they
side.
didn't even flinch.
He's not in the
Finally,
road.
I got close enough to see that it was some asshole dressed as Death,
Oh my
carrying a
gosh.
scythe.
Oh,
Something
death.
was
Okay.
odd, though. People, even if they are on the sidewalk, usually look over
Yeah.
their shoulder at an approaching car.
Yeah, this dude's
but
not moving.
They didn't.
You better hit him.
As I drove past, however, this person ever so smoothly looked right into the window of my car
Oh,
on the
no.
driver's side.
Oh no.
It gave me such a fright, like when people clap in your face. I passed them too quickly to see their face, let alone see what gender they were. After I passed
Bro,
them,
let's be
I
real.
looked into my
no
rearview
girl doing
mirror
that.
trying to see them, but it was so dark. I stopped at the traffic lights, and that's when I started to panic. I remember those scary clown guys who used to block people's path and tap on car windows, so I
Oh.
went through the red. No one was on this road anyway. I pulled over to the side and tried calling the cops at
Oh.
the station, just in case somebody hits them, but no one answered.
What?
I remembered my boss told me to hurry, so I just went on with the delivery. I got to the house and parked on the side of the road, and I gave the people their pizza. It's always awkward handing over the pizza in
Yeah.
silence, so to make conversation, I told them what I saw. They laughed and said,
That is not correct.
I laughed as well. I guess it was a pretty good prank. I got in my
Dude, he
car
had
and
blood
went to
on his-
start it,
Oh my gosh.
but I couldn't find the keys.
Yeah, he's cooked.
I checked outside my car as well, but
Bro.
I couldn't find them.
Why so quiet?
I searched for ages, but no luck. I started to panic and kept thinking about that person I saw on the street. I jumped into my car and locked it from the inside.
Well, guess what?
I almost started crying when I heard jingling.
Uh-oh.
I looked to my,
my
right
gosh.
to see that
Bro, chill out.
person dressed as Death,
Bro.
holding my keys, staring into my window.
Oh my
I
gosh.
felt everything in my body pulsating,
Yo.
but I couldn't move. It was like they were
No.
staring into my soul. Eventually, I started acting on instinct.
What
I
the
don't
frick?
remember
Oh.
thinking or doing it, but all of
Oh.
a sudden I was holding down the locks inside my car.
Oh.
My car is small and only has 2 doors, so I could easily reach across and hold both the locks down.
He has the
Started
key. He can
spamming
unlock
the
it.
car remote and trying to open the
Oh
door.
my gosh.
I was using all my energy to hold down those locks. I don't think I'd ever used so much effort
Bro.
and strength before in my
This
life.
dude's a G.
Again, I froze. I tried yelling at them, but I was holding my breath. Finally, a peep of strange sound came out as I gasped for air. I started screaming profanity at them. I screamed
Oh my
so
gosh.
much that my words became gibberish.
Bro, he has a
feeling
scythe.
of numbness took over
could
my
kill
body,
you.
and I couldn't hear myself screaming anymore. My whole body was being controlled by my anxiety, and my ears were ringing. I was sweating profusely.
Oh my gosh.
All this time, I couldn't take my eyes off them. This person, this thing,
Can you see his face?
standing over my car with a scythe. I knew that if they got in, I wouldn't
you're
stand
dead.
a chance.
Yeah, bro. Like,
The shadow from the hood hit their face. Was this even real? They stopped trying to get in and just looked at me. I started screaming out of exhaustion, and I became dizzy, and my vision was
oh my
blurred.
gosh. He's
There
killing
was a
himself.
silence, and then about 10 dogs started barking close by.
Oh,
This
that's the
gave me
choppers.
hope. While leaning on the
It has to be.
scythe, They lowered their body and put their face only a few centimeters from the window.
Yup.
Finally, I could see this person had covered themselves with a skull mask. We both froze and just stared at each other. I couldn't help but look into their eyes. The eyes. There was something unnerving about them. They didn't look like they were holding in laughter.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it was a prank. Through this creepy skull mask,
Dude.
I saw that they just looked curious. Like how a little kid looks at an animal in the zoo. I shut my eyes and started calling for help. I had been screaming for so long, why couldn't anyone hear me? I feared that fatigue would take over and they'd get in. At this moment, I swear I was almost convinced that death had come to collect me. I remembered my phone had Google Assist. With my hands still in the locks, I tried my luck and said, "Hey, call 000." It worked, and my phone contacted emergency services.
Why didn't you do that first?
I could not describe the feeling I got hearing the voice of the operator on the other line. I heard the blunt jingle of keys dropping. I opened my eyes, and the person dressed as death had disappeared. I tried looking around, but I didn't want to move. I just spoke to the lady on the line while holding the locks. She told me to keep doing what I was doing, and that she was sending the police. I waited on the line with her until the police arrived. It felt like hours, but it was only around 10 minutes. I told them what had happened. Because the person was threatening and I feared for my safety, I was required to make a formal statement to the station. They told me they'd keep it on file. The officers spoke to the people in the neighborhood, and none of them heard me scream or saw anything.
And
they were used to the dogs going off at night. I found my keys around 2 meters from my car. I called my boss and the officers followed me back to my work, where I signed out.
I quit.
I then followed them to the police station. I called my parents and they took my statement. It was almost 1 a.m. when it was finally finished. This was a couple of months ago, but sometimes it feels like I'm going crazy. It was probably some asshole messing with me, but they just looked so curious, like they were studying me. Or they enjoyed watching me feel helpless and terrified. I still do deliveries, but I never leave my keys in the car.
Who did that? Walmart, you continue to amaze. Be sure if you enjoyed to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, Lofty out.